thing on. It's on, and my finger is off the microphone. That's new. Hey everyone, it's your boy Terry. Puffy face and all. I've been sleeping with the window open because the nights have been kind of nice, but that also means all the pollen, depending on which way the wind blows, goes right into my window and apparently right into my throat because I wake up choking about 6 times a night. Or it could be my cats are trying to kill me. That could be that too. It is a Wednesday afternoon. Sorry I missed you yesterday. It was kind of a busy day. I worked all day and then worked all night. Yesterday I was working with my boy Bob Dodona with the vacation time thing I do a couple days a week with him. And that was a labor-intensive day, picking up and putting down of many 40 to 50-pound boxes several hundred times over about 8 hours. So I'm still too heavy, but I think some of that's going to be muscle this week. I'm still really sad about the tragic beard trimming accident that happened yesterday. Sue Pulser thought that was pretty funny. Sent me a big LOL message last night. Thank you, Sue. Thank you for your concern and your heartfelt bad feelings for me. I'm so sad. Anyway, so I worked with Bob, put in a full day with him. And then last night we recorded the first Undertow podcast, kind of a test run. We recorded for about an hour. I'd say about 30 to 40 minutes if it was actually any good. But we might get together tonight or tomorrow and try to... we're either going to really heavily edit that first one and put sort of a sizzle reel together to pitch to Exit Zero. Hopefully get their official backing on this podcast. I thought there was an ant on me. Sorry. But I really do believe it has potential. No, I'm sitting in a spider web. Oh, God, my least favorite thing. And so we're still honing that down. We're going to edit the Cape May Sage podcast and hopefully have those on the air in about, hopefully by this time next week, they'll be available somewhere on the interwebs for you to listen to. And we have a second Cape May Talking Arts with Cape May Stage episode scheduled to record in 2 weeks on the 29th. We're going to have a special guest for that. I'm just going to tease you with it. I know no spoilers, but it's a pretty prominent guest we're going to have from Cape May Stage. Roy Steinberg, as host, is a pretty prominent guest, but this is another other prominent guest who's doing a show for them this year. And that's it. You can see I'm still a little. This is my face now. I've come to realize this is my face, but I'm still a little sort of hungover from the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday were pretty physically and psychologically labor-intensive, just with all the performing and jumping around and singing and. Is this the right key? Is this the right tempo? Is this the right song? Oh my God, is my iPad battery going to die before the gig ends? Today's been pretty sedate. Got to sleep in, took the boys to school, got to sleep in a little bit. Did a little bit of shopping. I'm about to head inside and do some more writing for the new short story project I'm working on for Exit Zero. If I didn't tell you before, that's going to be a Sherlock Holmes story loosely based on the play I wrote a few years ago called Sherlock Holmes and the Werewolf of London. This one's going to be Sherlock Holmes and the Devil of Jersey, the Jersey Devil. I'm still sort of kicking around what to call it. It might just say a werewolf. I'm not sure. And it's not going to be like a direct adaptation of that show because there's different. In the play, Sherlock and Watson were retired. In this case, brought them out of retirement for one last hurrah. In the story, it's set very specifically in a very specific time frame because it ties into when the President of the United States was in Cape May for a year while the White House was being wired for electricity. So Congress Hall actually sort of became the White House for a summer. That's an interesting little bit of Cape May history for you. Yes, my grass is getting tall, but my mower is being repaired by my good friend Stephen Church. He says he's just waiting for a part to come in. He's going to fix my mower for me. He actually cut it the first time around. It was very nice of him. He's a very nice young man, Stephen Church. So anyway, where was I? The Sherlock Holmes show is set in a very specific time period. It was around 1890 when that took place, when the White House was being wired for electricity, and the White House kind of moved to Cape May for that summer. So that is how I'm tying in the Sherlock Holmes thing. I don't got to say too much more than that because I want you to read it and enjoy it and not spoil anything. I'm hopefully going to have that ready to go around Memorial Day, maybe a couple weeks after. I want to have the thing about 95% written before it goes to print, so I don't fall into that trap of having two chapters in circulation while I'm writing the third. I've fallen into that trap too many times. But I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to be writing again. It hasn't I've gotten really back into the flow of writing the column. So exercising that muscle for the last 5-6 weeks, writing that column has made me feel confident about adapting this story. And I'm probably 20% through adapting the script. So I'm really looking forward to that. What else is coming up? It's a slow week this week. I have just the karaoke on Friday. And then I sing with Tim on Monday at the Rusty Nail. Of course, karaoke's at Rio Station. And we're really going to start trying to ramp up production on the podcast and get some episodes out there on a regular basis. We're in the process of setting up a website. We're trying to find a domain name that isn't taken. We've tried TKO. We've tried several variations on Undertow. We have not been successful yet, but we will be because we want to get that up and running as soon as possible. And then I'm in talks with a couple of lady journalists who work in the AC, OC area about doing a podcast to cover sort of north of Cape May. And Chris and Kevin, my production partners, are working on their Wildwood podcast. And of course, I want to do the Billy Joel retrospective. If I haven't told you any of this, I guess it's all news to you. But we have about 8 shows lined up that we want to produce by the end of this year. And I want to have 4 or 5 of them up and running this summer. And we're currently working out ad rates. So if you or anyone you know might be interested in advertising on a podcast, the rates are pretty... We're still working out the exact formula, but it's going to be X number of dollars for the first 100 clicks, and then a small charge for every click over 100. But there's going to be a cap on it. So, I'm not going to... If the first episode gets 1 million clicks, I'm not going to whack you with a $300,000 advertising bill. There's going to be a cap, a fairly reasonable cap on what we could possibly charge for each episode, depending on how many clicks and views we get and that sort of thing. So it's not just sitting down and recording and talking into a microphone and click, click, put it on iTunes or Google. There's a lot that goes into setting up a podcast network, as I am learning as we move along here. But I'm confident it's going to be pretty successful. And if it isn't, well then dang it, at least I tried. So again, I'm trying to not neglect you, my 43 faithful YouTube subscribers. I've been pumping it up in the column every week, but we're still sitting in that 42, 43 area. So just tell all your friends. They can just subscribe and they don't even have to watch the videos. Or they can subscribe and just put the videos on, put it on autoplay, and then that time will bank. Because as you know, we need to reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of consumed content before I can start making money off of that. And again, nothing that's going to make me rich, but everything counts. It all helps. So if you know people who might be interested in advertising on the podcast, leave a comment, hit me on the Facebook. I'm on the Twitter. Come see the gigs. As you know, most of you already know about the Patreon. If you want to dip in there and throw in $1 a month, that would be fantastic. It all goes towards the last round of Patreon money. We bought some nice equipment for the podcast. Bought a nice little USB recording device. And we got some really nifty microphone stands that you sort of take anywhere, screw onto a table, and then you look like a professional podcaster with that big microphone arm coming down in front of you. So we're piecing it together. And each we already have our Amazon shopping cart full of all the things we want to get, but can't get because we just don't have that initial operating capital, that startup money. So the Patreon really helps with that. And we get one thing at a time, and soon then we'll have all those things that we need. And that would be great. Downton Stabby's coming up in a couple weeks, the 31st. If you saw it the first time and loved it and want to see it again, it'll be about 25% different because that's how those shows kind of go. But as ever, a lot of these things happen by word of mouth. So tell your friends, tell your family, got people down for the weekend. That would be great. First one was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. I think that's about it for today. Oh, my oldest son, Owen, he is in the Mr. Lower Cape May Regional. I'm sure he would kill me if I called it a pageant, but it's sort of a contest. Look how the only dark hair left in my beard is right over my... I got the sort of 1939 Chancellor of Germany thing going on there. That's no good. But I'm sure that'll be white soon enough, so I'm not worried about it. Anyway, Owen is one. I think they picked like 6 seniors and a couple of juniors to compete in this thing, and it's really cool. What's great about it is that I don't think the kids take it real seriously. not like some other pageants that you might watch on the TV and such. And Owen is doing about a 5-minute stand-up routine. I haven't heard it. I'm going to hear it tomorrow night at the actual contest. He's praying for rain right now because he took a special test in school today that he doesn't have to go back to school unless he has tennis practice. He's on the tennis team. He's a Fair to Midland tennis player. And he's kind of praying for rain so it gets practice gets rained out. And it keeps drizzling here and teasing him horribly. But we shall see what happens. So that's all. I just wanted to say hello. And I know I've been neglecting you, and I feel bad about that. But things are sort of calming down here. And I will try to say something to you tomorrow of value, unlike this last 10 minutes and 35 seconds you've wasted listening to me prattle on today. That is all. That's the tree. The tree is still standing even after that storm last night. We were recording the podcast at the lovely WIBG studios in Ocean City last night. And just as we finished, we walked outside. We were sort of having a post-mortem afterwards. Here's what worked, here's what didn't work, and other such discussions. And then, boom, the skies opened up and we got hit with rain, big fat raindrops and hail for the first couple minutes. And then Kevin and I outraced the storm down to Cape May. He dropped me off. He went back to Wildwood. And about an hour later, it whacked us here in Irma. But the tree, as you see, is still standing. That's all. Thank you. I appreciate everyone's support. Hit the Patreon, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. And listen, I appreciate all of you. And I want you to have a great night and be good.